Alright, this is a video for lab 6. It's also the first lab for the FEM. So in this later half of our semester, we'll be making this model based on the CAD that we provided. So eventually you're going to have this all set up and running. So that'll be the end of this semester. Okay, let me turn this off. So today we are going to just do some modification in the idealized part. And what is idealized part? We'll talk about that later. And so here is a preview of what you're going to have after this lab. Okay, so that's the midface is for the shell body and for the shell mesh, and those are the solid for your 3D texture mesh. And also the whole model is only a half. Then we're gonna reflect it to the other side to make it symmetric. Alright, so let's turn this off. From the very beginning. So first you want to do is download this CAD from the web course. And I'll just show you that in a minute. Okay, so that's in the folders, which is model for the CAD, and you want to download those this zip. After that, you want to extract everything, including the parts, in the same folder. So this way, if we start making the sim, you can open the part like this, and you will have the parts loaded. Otherwise, if you only have this assembly, you will have nothing on the screen. Alright, so once you open this, do not change the position of those parts. Just leave them as is. So let's take a look at the slides. Then you want to download. Then after you open this assembly file, we can start the sim and FEM. So we go to Start button and advance the simulation. Then here we are in the simulation mode. However, you still have to create the FEM and the sim files. So you need to right click in the simulation navigator on the part, new FEM and the simulation. Then we have to make sure we will create the idealized part. And also it's on Nastran and structural. That should be all on the default. If you never change anything, it should be there. And OK. So once we click OK, it'll create a couple different files. And the one we are in now is the same file. And that's like when you create a FEM, then you get into a sim, you will always have this window. So we're gonna simply just click OK. Alright, so now we're in the sim. And take a look at the files. We have 4 files, and the first one is the bottom one is the part, and we have the FEM, and we have the sim. And this one is a little bit interesting. We have /i.prt. So that I stands for idealized part. And let's go to the FEM first. Okay, so that's pretty familiar environment, like as your homework. We have polygons from the CAD, so which is not surprising, and we have 6 polygons because we have 6 parts, and we need to jump to the idealized part. And here it's gonna have a warning, so just click OK. Alright, now that's the steps in the slides, and 4 files, go to the idealized part. And what is idealized part? So let's say our model. The original model has a lot of details like teeth and the edge blend. And also we had another piece here, and I did some simplification in the assembly. You can also do simplification in the idealized part. And the idealized part is not related. It will not affect your master CAD. So it will not affect the CAD model you're going to manufacture. And that's the idealized part. Also, the idealized part provides polygon for the FEM instead of your master model. So there's a relationship between them. The FEM is actually just based on the idealized part, not the CAD model. So this way, the simulation and the manufacturer, they're separated. Okay. Now we're gonna do a lot modification in the idealized part without interference in the master model. All right. So the first step, if you want to modify anything in the idealized part, you need to promote them. Otherwise, they're not. You can't edit them. So take a look at the part navigator. Since this is idealized part, so basically this is another modeling file, and there's nothing here. And we're going to use promote. Okay, and be careful of this. If you're looking at the video now and promote body, okay, and you're gonna find that command on NX, say promote. Then you have two commands, and do not use the second one. We have to use the first one. Although the second one is called promote body, and if you use the one we're using, the title is misleading here. So remember, just use this promote. Okay, and we need to modify all of the parts, so you can simply box select everything. All right, and click OK. And now you can see we have those parts in the part navigator, and we can modify them. And the first step is the midface. So if you were in the class, those three pieces are going to be shell, 2D shell. So we're going to need a midface for them. And the command is in here. Okay, midsurface by face pairs. And make sure you are in the advanced simulation application. Sometimes you're gonna I don't know why, but sometimes you switch back and forth between different files. So you're back in the modeling, and that's the modeling, but you don't have those commands for the idealized part. So just make sure you're in the advanced simulation. Then find the split body, midface body, midface command. Alright, so we're gonna make midface for 3 of them, so we can pick them all at once. And the strategy should be progressive. And just make sure your setting is the same as here. Then we can click here, create face pairs. And since they are pretty uniform thickness pieces, so you would have those. Let me hide them, and the midface is actually pretty easy for the computer to find them. Okay, and be careful of this small piece. We don't need that. Just leave it there. Okay, so you will think that'll be enough for the idealized part, but we preferably, because this model is symmetric on the with respect to XY plane, right? This direction. So when we mesh the part, the mesh is not necessarily symmetric according to the geometry. It will not follow exactly your geometry. So how do we make sure the mesh is symmetric? We cut this in half and we mesh only half of the model. Then we reflect to the other side. What's the advantage of that? When you do simulation, you apply a force. okay, on the XY plane, on the symmetry plane, and you're gonna expect your SPC force to be 0 on the Z direction because we don't have any force on the Z direction. However, if your mesh is not symmetric, it's gonna generate some of the outer plane SPC force, and that's something you don't want to see. And in reality, if this is symmetric, your results should be symmetric. That's why we are modeling only a half of this. So enough talking, we're gonna do a split body. Okay, and in the slides I said you can select everything, and if you look carefully, actually the mid face for the link here is already on the symmetry plane. So if you pick everything, it'll still work. It'll give you a escalation mark says there's one piece that's could not be cut because it's already on the symmetry plane. Okay, just a warning for you. And the tool is a new plane, and it's going to be XY plane, which has a normal of Z, so that's why it says ZC here. And once you say OK, you can see it cut in half, and I can back up a little. That's before cutting, and after cutting it's gonna be have one cut in the middle, and there's an escalation mark because we have this the link piece has not been cut and it could not be cut. Alright, next step, let me hide those pieces. And after you cut, actually the top will not be hidden when you try to hide the promoted body. So if you wanted to, you can just hover and wait for the 3 dots and pick solid body, then hide it. If you simply right click, it will not show you. Okay, you have to pick the solid body and hide it. Alright, anyway, so if you look at our CAD, the jaw handle portion, okay, it's actually not touching the mid face. The jaw it's actually not touching this handle piece, and in the simulation we have to glue them together. And there's a glue called edge to surface glue. So the idea is we glue this edge onto this piece of 3D texture. So however, if there is no edge right now, right? This is a continuous mid face. So I'm gonna hide the solid. So you can see there's no edge here. If you mesh, we're gonna have mesh inside the jaw, the 3D texture of the jaw. So the idea is we're gonna divide this surface at this intersection curve. So here, that's why we're doing this intersection curve first. And insert curve from bodies and intersect. Alright, so you want to intersect this face with those 2 faces. Okay, so it's on tangent face, that's fine, it doesn't matter. I'll click this and it'll find this intersection line. Click that, we have those intersection curves. Okay, once we have those, we can divide the face, which is on the next slide. And that's here, divide face. Okay, so I want to divide this mid surface of the handle, and the dividing objects are the curves. And be careful how you pick things. Okay, move your cursor onto the curve, and when it says connected curve, then you can click. Okay, so it'll pick this perpendicular curves, and that's fine, and that's actually what we want. So we just divided that mid surface. We can take a look And by hiding this, now we can see that's a mark there. Okay, if you want to compare to lower half, which we didn't cut, okay, so it's kind of hard to see. All right, let's go to the FEM and take a look. Before you go to the FEM, you want to make sure you show all the stuff here. Otherwise, it's not gonna get into the FEM. Okay, so I'll try this just to demonstrate. So we're back in the FEM, and this information is gonna say, okay, you just did a lot of cutting, so I have a lot more polygons now. And let's go back to the first tab, Simulation Navigator. And remember, we had only 6 parts and also 6 polygon bodies. Now we did a lot of cutting, and we end up with 21 polygons. And you notice something is missing, right? That's because we didn't show them in the idealized part. So we have 21 polygons now. If we go back to the idealized part and go to part navigator, I'm gonna select all of them, make sure they're shown on the screen, then go back to the FEM. Okay, now let's go back to simulation navigator, and we have 25 polygons versus 21 before. So you do want to make sure to show all the bodies in the idealized part. Then you can go to the FEM, and here we have the solids cut in half, as well as some mid-surface. We need to do one more step, okay? Because if you notice, our grip is pretty messy compared to this face. Okay, that's a whole bunch of little faces, and that's a continuous face. So if you mesh this, even you box select everything and do a 2D mesh, you're gonna have a whole bunch of different pieces of mesh. So we need to merge them first. That's a question of finding them. Okay, so after you find them, let's see, actually you don't want to merge the whole thing. You just want to merge a half. Okay, let's try and merge them at once. Merge those 2 polygon body at once. And the command is here, merge face. And there's 2 options. You can delete the edge between faces, or you can pick the faces you want to merge, and there's it's like a feature angle face or feature angle element face. Now it'll pick all you'll merge the faces that's within 15 degrees. So let's try to apply. Okay, it's good that they didn't merge the top and the bottom together. And for this individual piece, it looks pretty smooth. So that's all the work we have to do for this lab. And it's probably a good idea to rename your part. Let's say this is the grip, and this is actually the grip you're gonna use. The other portion, you don't have to worry about that, because we're gonna only mesh a half. So forget about that piece. Okay, this piece, it's gonna be the jaw handle and the handle portion. Right, then that small piece doesn't matter. Don't need that. Okay, so that's the link. Then what we have here, nothing. So it's either to rename them, that way you can find them, or the other way is after you mesh them, you can apply a filter on this folder. Then you will be able to find them. So that's the jaw, right? This is the jaw handle. Now I'll just say jaw and handle. Alright, so that's the pieces you will need for meshing. Okay, and that's all for this lab. So make sure you have this cut here. Let's try to hide this piece. Okay, make sure you have this cut. And the next lab, we're gonna just mesh this thing. It's pretty easy, just 2D mesh. And you can pick 3 if they are the same mesh size and the mesh type. And you can apply. Then that's the mesh. I don't think this is the right size though, so you have to wait for next lab, or you can just play with this. So that's how you modify the idealized part. Alright, no homework for this lab. Thank you.